Hi, this is a short video about a current process that is going on in Extinction Rebellion Netherlands, which is the review of our demands. And I want to briefly talk about why we're doing this, what exactly is going to happen, and how, which mainly refers to how you can get involved to watch this video. I'm Leonard. I'm engaged in the Political Strategy and Change Working Group of Extinction Rebellion Netherlands. Unfortunately, I'm German, so I don't speak Dutch so well. So if you want to help me putting Dutch subtitles, please contact me. I put my contact details later in the slideshows, and then maybe you can help me adding the Dutch subtitles. To begin with, these are the Dutch demands that we have currently. Maybe you can just shortly stop the video and take some time to read over them. And these are the English demands. Same thing. Feel free to stop the video and just look over them. So why are we reviewing the demands? After the demands were created in January, February, there was a lot of criticism that was voiced throughout the year in different meetings, but especially also online on platforms like Discourse that you can see a screenshot on the right. And this criticism relates to different issues. For example, to the Dutch version that has a lot of flaws, a lot of grammatical expressions that are not perfect yet or ambiguous, but also some issues like the Delta plan that wasn't clear, the concept of justice that is not explained well, and other issues. One main point that was mentioned is that the demands are very long at the moment, as you could see before. That it's very difficult for people to communicate them, to remember them, and to see what is really the core of them. Many people, for example, in actions, communicated only shortened version of the demands, which created a lot of ambiguity what now actually our official demands are. So in the review process now, we can't completely start from scratch. There has been a lot of work. Extinction Rebellion has a certain identity, so we will not completely renew the demands, but just improve what we already have. So on the right hand, you can see the structure that the new demands will have. It will be 3 or 4 main points that will relate to the concepts of telling the truth or the emergency, about the call on the government to act, about the citizens' assembly that will guide the legislation, that will make the legislations, and the concept of justice. And here we can decide, and this is what will happen in the review process, if we want a completely dedicated section, a 4th one that deals with the concept of justice and about eventually with the concept of ecocentrism instead of anthropocentrism, or if we want to include these concepts in the 3 demands that I mentioned above. So some characteristics that the new demands will have based on discussions in the Political Strategy and Change Working Group, but also in the coordination circle, and also by input from other circles such as the Media and Communications Working Group, are the concepts on the left. So the new demands have to be short, clear, and easy to communicate for the reasons that I mentioned about earlier. It is important that everyone in the movement, but also everyone in the Netherlands, understands really what we want as Extinction Rebellion. The concept of justice needs to be included in these demands, as I mentioned before, either in a 4th section or included in the other demands. Importantly, the demands have to include the concept of the ecological crisis going beyond the climate crisis. It is not just about emissions that warm our planet, but also other actions that humans enact to and destroy the environment with this, create a lot of pressure, and we are currently in a 6th mass extinction, and this has to become clear from the demands, and appropriate actions from the government need to be demanded as well. Another point is that it has to be clear what will be the mandate of the Citizens' Assembly. About the how. So how is this process going to look like? First of all, if you want to take part, you can join the review team. And the review team will mainly meet, the main thing that the review team will do is that it will meet in the working session 1, which is this week, and in the working session 2, which is next week. If you want to join this review team, you can either contact me on Mattermost, which is the internal communication platform that Extinction Rebellion uses. You can find me there in the red highlighted contact details, so Len_Amsterdam, or just send me a mail, and then I will help you finding your way into the review team. So the review team will meet the first time on the 20th of July, which is this Saturday, in the Utrecht headquarters of Extinction Rebellion. The review team will first receive presentations by the Political Strategy and Change Working Group to give background on the different concepts such as justice acting now, emergency, and other points. Then they will discuss this input and then sit down in a working session in which they will write in English and a Dutch version of the new demands. Then we will have 1 week of input. So a summary of this working session will be published on all kinds of channels. Another video will be made. And then you can give people, anyone in the movement or outside of the movement, can give input via Discourse. I will explain a bit more about this in a second. And then after this input phase, on next week, Saturday, the Revy team will come together again. It can be slightly different people, but it would be nice that if the people who were there on this Saturday will also be there next week. And then based on the input that will be summarized by the Political Strategy and Change Working Group, they will write a final draft. This final draft will be given to the Coordination Circle of Extinction Rebellion, and this Coordination Circle then decides if this is approved or not. Right, about Discourse. Discourse is a platform that Extinction Rebellion uses to have online discussions. Extinction Rebellion is spread around the whole country and actually around the whole world, so it is very useful to have a channel where we can have debates that go more into depth with discussions. So you can you can make an account on Discourse on this email here, base.extinctionrebellion.nl, and then in the channel EXA NL demands and so on and so forth, you can join the discussions on the demands. And please feel free to just join if you're new to Extinction Rebellion or not, and just add your comments. In this channel, you will also then, after the first working session, find the update on what the Revy team came up with, and then add your comments again. If you're new to Extinction Rebellion and terms like mattermost, tell the truth, or justice, or climate justice are new to you, then maybe just check out the website, extinctionrebellion.nl, get active. There you will learn more about the movement, and then people will also help you to find your way in.